I'm gonna kill you.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2024 thriller Cult Killer. The film is directed by John Keyes and it stars Alice Eve, Antonio Banderas, we have Shelley Hennig and we also have Nick Dunning. Right, the film focuses on Alice Eve's character Cassie. We meet her at the beginning of the film. She's kind of like the local drunk, really. She kind of, lures lads to buy her drinks, behaves, in a not particularly dignified way. And this one particular night, she crosses paths with Antonio Banderas' character, Mikhail, who is a private investigator. He's there on a job. He helps her get out of a sticky situation, and essentially takes her under his wing and trains her as a private investigator, so that she can kind of get dry from alcohol and give a purpose in life. Jumps forward then a few years, and then and it's not really a spoiler because this happens really, really quickly. Antonio Banderas is murdered seemingly in cold blood in the street, and Alice Eve then vows revenge, and that leads her to investigate with the local police. And it turns up that in actual fact there is a sex trafficking ring, and the person running around doing the killing is a young lady that was tortured for many, many years by these sex traffickers. Right. What are my thoughts on Cult Killer? This film is a bit hit and miss. I think that's a fairly generalised statement, but that's how I felt watching this. I thought there are things here that frustrate. I thought the start was pretty poor. We're meant to kind of buy this respectful relationship between Antonio Banderas and Alice Eve. He kind of saves her in a way from herself because she's heading down a dark road with alcohol. But they do it too quickly. It's all done too quickly, this relationship, establishing this relationship. And then basically Antonio Banderas is killed off in the first 10 minutes. And the only time you see him then again in the film is through flashbacks. And if you know me and you know my reviews, I'm never a big fan of flashbacks, because the flashbacks don't really do an awful lot to continue to establish this relationship. It's just scenes of them talking in pubs or him training her with hand-to-hand combat or with pistols, that sort of thing. But you do get the message that he was very, very well respected, and certainly by her. There's no romantic thing going on there with him. But she sees him as, almost like a father figure. So she's very desperate to find this person that killed her. And then the real twist, well, it's not really a twist, but the real hook here in the film is, in actual fact, the woman responsible is, trying to track down these sex traffickers, and she mistakenly killed Banderas. So she kind of has to put that to one side, and forge like a dangerous alliance with this young lady in order to try and bring this sex trafficking ring down. Now, all that sounds really quite thrilling and exciting. The trouble is, other than maybe the last 20 minutes, a lot of this film is filled with some eye-rolling stuff, some fairly cringeworthy dialogue here and there, and some fairly poor investigation scenes. And you've really got to suspend your disbelief here. I mean, I know Antonio Banderas' character was a very well-respected private investigator amongst the local police, and it's based in the UK. Well, I think it's Northern Ireland actually, or Ireland for sure. And then when he is killed, they kind of make her some kind of special investigator with them, and she's allowed to do what she does. And these are, quite honestly, the worst police in the world, because they actively encourage her to break the law, like break into places or hack people to get what they need. And if you like, she's naive enough to do it, rather than turning around to them and sort of saying, hang on a minute, you're getting me to break the law so that I can get this evidence for you. What are you going to do? And that's a very good question, because they don't actually do a great deal, the police, here in this film. She kind of does all the heavy lifting, and naively so, you could argue. But it does pick up, this film, and the subject matter is certainly quite impactful and disturbing. It's almost like, you know, the Dexter series. I think it's series 5. You know, it's a season after his wife died, so it is season 5, I think, where he teams up with Julia Stiles. Is it? You know, with them sex traffickers, and she wants revenge on them. It's very similar to that in a lot of ways. So imagine season 5, sorry, of Dexter, you know, whittled down to like an hour and a half or an hour and 40 minutes, however long this film is. And just not done anywhere near as well as the Dexter season. It's not even one of the strongest seasons either for Dexter. So I don't have an issue here with like the production values. They're all of a good standard. The action, when you get it, it's okay. The direction's decent enough. The performances are all strong. And Alice Eve, I think, does actually at times make a compelling lead here. I just don't think the material does her or her character justice, really. We learn that she was abused when she was young, so she's got like an affinity for this poor young woman, Jamie, who has been tortured and abused by these sex traffickers. But again, they don't do enough to establish that so that you can really feel that connection between the two of them. It almost feels like it's sometimes in too much of a rush to kind of give us some silly investigation scene that don't make sense anyway. And it's a shame that you barely get any Antonio Banderas in this film. And to be honest, what you do get in the film, he's always full of charisma, is Antonio Banderas, but he's sadly lacking in this film. He's just kind of delivers his lines competently at best, I suppose. So while I don't think this is a complete disaster or anything like that, I think there was potential here for a very dark, gritty thriller. What we actually get is a very kind of light touch thriller, really, that deals with some heavy subject matters but doesn't necessarily do them justice. So yeah, it's not a bad film or anything like that, and you won't necessarily feel like you've wasted your time if you watch it. But I do think it could have been vastly improved with a couple of changes here and there. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll be back with more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.